What is up, guys? Matt here. Start December, brand new board game for you guys. And this is actually, well, it's kind of a board game, kind of a card game. It's kind of half and half. You got some boards, you got some cards. Um, we are doing Seasons. If you do not know what Seasons is, it's a card drafting, dice rolling game. You're going to be rolling dice, you're going to be drafting some cards, you're going to be playing some cards, getting some energies, getting some crystals, all that good stuff. Uh, it's also a strategy game. If you like strategy games, if you like drafting cards, stay tuned because you're going to love this stuff. It is 2 to 4 players. It is about, it says it's about 60 minutes. Depending on who you're playing with, it could take much longer than that because drafting. We'll just say that because drafting. Suggested ages 14 and up. Who really follows that anyways? I know I don't. I'm like 12 and I play any game, no matter what age it says. But yeah, we're doing Seasons, overview and review for this video. If you want to see the gameplay for this game, go to the other video, which should be up right now. One can only hope. And yeah, overview coming up right now. Everything you need to know about this game, you want to know more about this game, anything and everything, it's coming up right now. And then after that, review. Alright guys, this is how you set up and play Seasons with all the information you could ever want and need for this game. So, when you start, you want to pick a player board. Which player board you pick doesn't really matter, it's just different colors. So, as always, you're going to be setting up for a 2-player game, so we'll be removing 2 boards. We'll just be having these 2. With each player board, you get 4 of these little blocks, different, each colored for the 4 different boards. So you want to take 2 of these blocks, and you want to put it 1 on this yellow star right here. You'll put the other on this green 0 right there. This one. Alright, so what each of these ones represent is this one on this 0 star right here. This is your summoning gauge. The number that it is on represents how many cards you can summon on your turn. So everyone starts out at 0, so no one can summon any cards at the start of the game. And what this other one is the bonus track. These 4 right here, anytime you use one of these, you move your block over 1 on the bonus track, which represents how many points you're going to lose at the end of the game. So if you use one of them once, you lose 5, use 2, you lose 12, you lose 20 if you use all 3. And you can only use a max of 3. Also with these, you can use them as many times as you want, up to the 3. So if you wanted to use this first one 3 times, you could do that. If you wanted to use it twice and then the second one once, you can do that as well. I'll get into what those do specifically a little later before we get into everything else. But this is what your board's going to look like at the start of the game. These little notches at the top of each board is how many energies that you can have in your reserve. The max is 7. And this little hole right here is where you'll just be placing your dice. Which I know, Matt, what are energies? What, dice? There's dice in this game? Yeah, we'll be getting into that in a second. So your boards will look like that. Just move these to the side. And then we got these 2 boards right here. This is your season wheel. And we got right here our crystal tracker. So with these other 2 blocks, we're going to be placing each of them down here by the 0. You can have them on top of each other. You can have them right next to the 0. Doesn't really matter. And then the other 2 go up the top here at this 0 up here. So as you get crystals, you'll be moving these blocks along the crystal tracker just to keep track of how many crystals you have, obviously. And then once you get up past 99, you'll be taking your second block and moving it up to this 100 marker. And again, if you go past 199, you move it to the 200. So that's what you do with your other 2 blocks. And then with the season wheel, there are 2 other blocks that come just for this. They're both black and there's only 2 of them. You're going to place one of them on this little 1 right here, Roman numeral 1, and you place the other on this one on the blue side. Each of the different colors represents a different season. You got winter, spring, summer, and fall. And then these 3 circles in the middle represent what year you're in. So you're always going to start off in the first year and at the beginning of winter. And then with the changing of the seasons, you're going to be switching which season die you use. So for each season, there are 5 dice, and this changes depending on how many players you have. You'll always have 1, and then you add 1 more for each player there are. So since we're playing a 2-player game, we're going to have 3 dice in total. Grab the rest of these. So we got 3 yellow ones for summer, 3 red for fall, 3 blue for winter, and 3 green for spring. So there are tons of different symbols in all of these dice. And there's just so many to go over. Where do we start? I guess we'll start here in winter. So, looking, I'll just move this. We'll just have the dice over here. Why not? Yeah, why not? Okay, so looking at this first dice, we have a star, we have these 2 like upside down acorn things, and then the 2 pips down here. So the star represents summoning. If you grab this dice, you're going to get 1 summoning on your summoning gauge. Which again, bring this board over real quick. Remember, first block starts on the 0, you're going to just move it up by 1 on the summoning gauge. And then these 2 like upside down acorns represent energies. So this one in particular will give you 2 water energies. There are 4 different kinds of energies in seasons. There is water, there's wind, fire, and earth. And you'll be seeing each of them on the dice. So we get a summoning, we get 2 water energies, and then these 2 pips represent how far this block is going to move on the season wheel. So it has 2 pips on it, so this block will be moving over 2 over to 3. And that is all this dice does. There are also dice that have these little circles on them with the little bumps, kind of like corners. What this means is transmute. So you may have noticed on the season wheel there is a lot of stuff here in the middle. You got these things, which again, these represent crystals, and then you have the different energies here in between them. So during each season, you can transmute some of your energies into crystals. So if we're starting here in winter, we can transmute a water or a wind into 1 crystal, a fire into 2 crystals, or an earth into 3. And then again, that changes with each season, so you're not always going to get 3 for earth. In spring, fire will give you 3, then in summer, wind will give you 3, fall, water will give you 3. And so all you do to transmute, you need to have the dice that has the circle on it. You just get rid of your energies, and then you'll get the appropriate amount of crystals. And you can transmute as many energies as you have. Let's move that back over there. Now, there are also, let me find it, here we go. There are also some dice that have numbers on them, where the star would be on this one. What the number means just represents crystals. So with this one, instead of getting 1 summoning, you would get 2 crystals instead. Some exclusively only give crystals, and there are tons of different combinations. This one only gives 1 energy. Well, it also gives a summoning. I think that's it for this dice. Yeah. This one, it lets you transmute, but you get no summoning, no crystals, but you do get 2 energies. And then there are also these, where it's just complete whiteness. That just represents card. It allows you to draw a card, and then you can choose whether or not you want to keep that card in your hand or not. And then again, with all the different dice, it's going to change, like with what energies they have on them, and all those different kinds of combinations. Move this back over there. Those, okay, so we need to go over this. We haven't gone over this yet. So what these bonuses mean are, this first one, you can trade any 2 of your energies that you have for 2 different energies that you want. And the second one, you get +1 crystals every time you transmute. The third one, you get +1 to your summoning gauge. And then this last one, when you get the draw card die, you can, instead of drawing just 1 card, you can draw 2 cards instead, and then pick 1 of the 2. Next, which is a big part of the game, are the cards. So there are loads of cards in this game, 50 unique ones, and then there's 2 of each. So in total there's 100 cards. On the bottom of them, they are numbered for 2 reasons. One, anything past 30, 31 through 50, those are called like the advanced cards that you would use for more advanced players, for just gonna keep using this word, more advanced strategies. And then 1 through 30 are just considered the beginner cards. They're easier to understand and all of that. Better for people who are playing a game for the first time. You would want to leave out the 31 through 50 and just use the 1 through 30. But there are 2 of each, and so I'm just going to take away the more advanced cards and leave the basic cards. So what you do is you just shuffle them, and then you're going to give out 9 to each player. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, got 6, we got 7, we got 8, and we got 9. So these remaining cards, they just get set anywhere in arm's length for the other players. That's just your the deck that you'll be drawing from if you get the opportunity to draw cards. And so then with these 9 cards, you then go into a draft with them. If you do not know what a draft is, basically each player is going to look at their cards, flip these over. You're going to look at your cards, and then out of these 9 cards, you're going to choose one of them. Put the other, flip that upside down, place that kind of like your deck, but you're not really going to have a deck. But so you pick one of them, and then you take the 8 others, and then you pass it to everyone on. I mean, you can kind of do it whichever way. The usual way is clockwise. I think that's what most people do, is clockwise. But you just pass them to the player on your left. If you want to do counterclockwise, you can do that too. I mean, it's not a huge deal. But for this one, we'll just say pass it to the player on your left. That player also had picked a card, and they had passed theirs. So in this 2-player game, you're basically passing these 2 decks back and forth. And you're just picking cards. Just put 1 in each. Why not? You're just picking cards until you both have 9 again. So you picked all your cards, you got 9 again. And then out of these 9 cards, you pick 3 of them to be your starting hand. Let's move that to the side. You pick 3 for your starting hand, and then you pick 3 for your second year, and then another 3 for your third year. So what that means is you're just going to put them nearby. You're going to take these little tokens that represent the second and third year. You're going to place them on top, and then going to, oh boy, Mom Spaghetti, I messed that up over there. Alright. And you're just going to keep them there until the season wheel goes around the entire way and comes back to winter, in which the year will move up by 1. So you're starting off with these 3 cards, and then as you play the game, the season wheel, it's going to go around the season, 2 pips, 1, 2, 3 pips, maybe 1 pip. It's going to go all the way around the wheel until it comes back to winter, and then it's going to change years to the second year. And then when it goes around the board again, a second time, it's going to move over to the third year. So once it changes to the second year, you're going to get your dust those off. Okay, you're going to get your second year cards. So then these cards are going to get added to your hand. And then once it gets down to the third year, you're going to take your third year cards that you picked, and then you're going to add those to your hand. So if you haven't played any cards at all during your turn, you're going to have 9 total cards in your hand for the third year. So let's just move this tracker over here. Let's take a look at some of these cards. Oh, we got some duplicates all over here. Alright, these are pretty good examples. So, when you look at your cards, there are 2 different colors. And by the way, all these cards are called power cards. And then the different colored ones are called different things. The orange colored cards are called familiars. And then the purple colored cards are magical items. Oh, I also need to get another symbol. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's move this over a bit. Okay. So we got 3 different kinds of cards here. If you look up here in this corner, the top left, there are different numbers. On this Lewis Greyface, he's got a 6. That is how many points you're going to be getting at the end of the game for having him played. In this bottom left corner, there are different symbols. They can have one of these symbols, they can have 2 of them, they can have all 3 of them. But what they mean is, this one, it's kind of like a half circle with a down arrow. It's kind of hard to see, it kind of just looks like a blob. But it's a half circle with like a down arrow attached to it. That means its effect happens immediately, and it's only going to happen once when you play it. This one, it is an arrow going in a circle. Kind of think of like an Ouroboros. kind of. What that means is that its effect is continuous. It's always going to happen. Um, like what is this one? Each change of season, each of your opponents gives you one crystal if they're able to. So when this changes from winter to spring, spring to summer, summer to fall, fall to winter, anytime that happens, this card is going to activate. So whenever this card whenever I can't think of the word. Whenever this is able to happen, it will happen, and it can happen. Is what that symbol means. And the last symbol is a cogwheel, and that is just like a once per turn kind of thing. Except for this one. This one, you sacrifice this card completely. You sacrifice it, and you are able to transmute each of your energy tokens in your reserve into 4 crystals. There are others where, basically, if you got a cogwheel, you can only use it once per turn, whatever its effect is. Once you use it, you're kind of just going to, like, tap it. If you play Magic, just kind of just turn it to the side. You just tap it, and then when it comes back to your turn, you're going to flip it back up like that. So, once per turn, cogwheel, continuous, little Ouroboros arrow thing, and then half circle, down arrow, immediate, only once. The other things are, of course, the wording down here. It's just the text, its effect. Whatever its effect is, it will be there. The very bottom in very small letters or numbers is just, like I said earlier, what number they are out of the set. And I said the first reason why this is helpful, but the second reason is if you have any questions about the effects or how certain cards interact with each other, you can look in the rule book, and there is a list of every single card, and any possible question you could have about that card is in the book. And then they're ordered with whatever number that they are. And then lastly, you got these right here above the text and below the artwork. The colored circles are just energies. Well, anything in that area is how much they cost. So the colored circles here are the energies. It's a little harder to see on the yellow, but they are the different energies. Like Lewis Greyface costs 1 fire and 1 wind to summon, and then Figrim, he is completely different. His cost to being summoned changes depending on how many people are in the game. That's what these little white marks on here mean. They represent the people. So in a 2-player game, like we're playing, he will cost 3 crystals to summon. The black symbol with a number inside is just how many crystals it costs to summon. If something costs nothing to summon, it's just going to be a crystal with a 0 inside of it. And there are cards like that, where they cost absolutely nothing to summon. And that is pretty much it for the cards. Now, you did the draft, you set up the boards and everything. After that, you're ready to play. So, as I said earlier, you're always going to start off in winter. So you're always going to take the winter dice to start off. So you're just going to roll the dice, and you're going to look at them. Let's say this is the first player. So you're going to look at them, and you're going to decide which one you want. They're all basically the same. What you really want to look for is summoning. Summoning is really important at the start of the game, because until you get a summoning on a dice, or you use one of your bonus, use your summoning bonus, you're not going to be able to play any cards, even if you have the energies. So getting summoning early is very important, as well as just getting the energies that you need. So even if you have summoning, if you don't have the energies that you need to summon something, or the crystals to summon something, you're not going to be able to play anything. So out of these three, let's just say you pick this one because it has summoning. These two are exactly the same, so the second player takes that one. You just take it, you put it in your little circle here, and then the last one is put back next to the board. Back next to the board, and then after each player has taken their turn, look at the pip, you move it accordingly, and then you all put your dice back, and then you go clockwise to the next player. They're going to pick up the dice and then roll them. So green went first and rolled the dice, so that means purple would go second. Well, no. Green went first to roll the dice, and now after everyone has taken their turn, now purple goes first and rolls the dice. That's what I was trying to say. So purple takes the dice and rolls them, and then they choose their dice, and then green will choose their dice, and so on and so forth. So let's say you're here. Just take these three cards. Say these are your three starting cards. Move this up a bit. Now, let's say these are your three cards. You got, I don't know, you got a couple earths. Let's say you got like two of each. You're going crazy. You got two of each somehow. That's not even possible to get two of each. Okay, we got almost two of each. So it is your turn. You got this dice. Well, let's do it this way. No, let's do it this way, actually. Okay, so start your turn. You roll the dice. You grab this one. You're going to get the two crystals. I don't think I've said this yet. The very first thing that you will always do on your turn is anything that is on the dice. So, the start of your turn, you will always do whatever the dice says. So you grab two crystals, your two energies, and for this one, that is it. But if you get a transmute die, you can transmute anytime during your turn. That is the only one that you do not have to do at the start of your turn. Everything else you do. So, we get two water energies, but we're completely filled here. Well, we're almost completely filled here. We got 6. We can only have one more energy in reserve, so we only get one more. We only get one of the two waters. So yeah, you only get one of the two waters. You get the two crystals, and so it's the start of your turn. Let's say you got like 2 summoning. Sure, let's go with that. And let's say you got one of those summoning from your bonus track. So this is how your board's looking. You got these 3 cards. You can summon 2 things. Well, you got the temporal boots. It costs 0 crystals. You can summon that whenever you want. You also have the potions of dream. You have the energies required for it, and you also have the hand of fortune, which you have the energies for. And let's just assume you have the crystals for it too, since you just got 2 and it costs 3. So if you wanted to, you could summon both of these right now. Or you could just hold on to them if you wanted to. You don't have to play them. The only time that you really have to play cards is at the very end of the game. So move these so it's flat. Move this over here. So yeah, the only time you really have to play cards is at the end of the game. So if it's like the 3rd year and it's like almost the end of spring or summer, you're gonna want to play your cards, as many as possible, because for every card that you still have in your hand at the end of the game, you're gonna lose 5 points. So if you have 2 cards left, you're gonna be losing 10 in total. And that is pretty much it. Yeah. So the end of the game, as I've said, is once this goes from 12 on the third year over to the 1, it's the end of the game. So the game is over. To figure out who the winner is, you're going to tally up all your power cards, all their points in the top left. You're going to add all of that up. You're going to minus anything from the bonus tracker. So if you used only 1, you'd minus 5. Use 2 or 3, 12 or 20. You're going to minus that stuff, and then you're also going to add any crystals that you have acquired over the game. So you're going to add all that stuff up, and of course, whoever has the most points at the end of the game will be victorious. And that is everything. That's everything you need to know to start playing Seasons. Okay, guys, so that's everything you needed to know, how to set it up, how to play it, all that good information you could possibly need about Seasons. You just got it. Now, what do I think about this game? I think this game is amazing. This is actually one of my favorite games. Probably, is it top 5 or maybe top 10? I'd probably say top 5. I really like the card drafting. I really like the art. Card drafting, art. I like all the strategy that goes into it. I love strategy games. I can't express that enough. Strategy games are amazing. Just everything about it, I really like it. I like how they have the stuff at the end of the rulebook about each and every single card. If you have any questions about it, I really like that. How much detail they really put into this to really make it easy to understand and to answer any questions that you could possibly have. It can be a little difficult to figure out how to play when you're first playing, but I don't know, for me it's kind of okay. I kind of got it during my first play, but during my second one after the first one I kind of like really got it. But I think it's a really good game. Since we're doing numbering scores now, out of a 10, I would give this at least an 8 or a 9. Probably more like a 9, because that drafting, I love drafting. It just takes me back to those TCG days. I was about to say games. I mean, I guess that kind of works too, but those TCG days of playing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Everyone loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day. I never played Magic. Never. That wasn't my scene, kid. But yeah, the drafting. I really like the drafting. The art's really good. I already went over this stuff, but this is just why I feel like it's a 9. Mostly the drafting and the strategy that goes into like taking the 9 cards that you drafted and trying to figure out, okay, what do I need for the early game? What do I need for late? What do I need to have in the middle? Like, where do all these cards fit? And then actually during the draft, how do I fit these cards together to make the most out of them? Even like the really bad ones that people probably don't want at all. That is like so much fun to me. Trying to take these really crappy cards that probably nobody wants at all, not picking them because I assume no one's going to pick them at all. Just try to take the good ones at the start, while also trying to figure out how do these good ones fit in with these really bad ones. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but I can usually make it work. And I've done some pretty fun stuff with some really bad cards. And when I actually get it off, whew, boy, you better believe that I'm having a great time and everyone that I'm playing against is crying. because I'm just that good. But yeah, overview, review. That has been this video. That is everything. You now know that I really enjoy seasons. I had to check to make sure this is actually the right way up, and it is. Um, yeah. Thumbs up on seasons. Check it out. And check out my gameplay video that I played with a couple of my friends who, weirdly enough, are all named Matt. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that I had friends who are also named Matt, even though their names aren't actually Matt. But apparently their names are now Matt. But yeah, check out that video if you want to see this game played. And thank you for watching. Also, I forgot I need to do that boring edit video stuff with Twitter and Instagram for me, base delinquents. Capes and Scowls, Facebook, Twitter. They got a website, capesandscowlspodcast.com. And if you couldn't guess from the name of their website, they got a podcast. Check it out, Capes and Scowls. You can find it on any of those podcast places, iTunes. That's the only one that I know about because that's the only thing I ever use. But I mean, if you know if something else is probably on there, check them out. Got some funny guys on there, and that's it. I'll see you next time for whatever video I do next. Which, if you're watching the gameplay video after this, which you should be, I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you in another video next week. Yep. Take care. As always, I love you.